don't know if we're seeing the forbearance yet on small biz loans, but your point is there's other tools the Fed can use here. So what do you have in mind today?
Well, I think the key word is going to have to be targeted. I'm a macro guy, so I'm a very big on using interest rates and the usual fiscal tools and monetary policy tools that the Fed and Treasury are using. But right now, the situation is that in this virus bomb that we're encountering, we have to be able to target the victims of the bomb. And in order to do that, we have to first identify them, which means we have to test. But also, we have to ensure that the companies that are affected and the people who are affected are put whole so that by the time the virus is over, they're in a position to actually experience the rebound, which means access to small business loans, which means unemployment insurance that's targeted to the virus-affected people. Because the one thing we have to remember is a broad-based recovery plan is going to be wasting a lot of fiscal bullets.
Well, now here's where I got to jump in, because while I know what you're saying, I'm not sure it's effective. Here's why. There are people who are going to lose their jobs who themselves have nothing to do with contracting coronavirus. Why? Because people aren't going to the ballparks like they were going to this spring. And so the guy selling concessions is going to have to file for jobless claims. And we shouldn't deny them to him because he himself is not directly involved with coronavirus. Now, he is probably able to prove some related hardship. But you get further and further down that daisy chain, it's going to be a lot harder to draw the direct cause and effect.
Absolutely, Kelly, and that's the administrative nightmare of having targeted programs. But the alternative is a broad-based Medicare for all kind of program, which is unbounded in costs and totally ineffective.
But
and
it doesn't
allows
Medicare for all is like a $50 trillion, kind of thing out there. I mean, you could do something like a payroll tax cut. You could literally even cut $1,000 checks to families. We had Jeremy Siegel on here the other day saying, why not declare a 3-month total tax holiday or give $2,000 checks to people? The idea is, look, everyone in this country, for better or worse, is rushing to stock up on goods. 40% of Americans don't have $400 in savings or whatever the figure is, Bill. People need a little extra cash to get through this time. Don't they deserve that?
Absolutely, but we target it to the low-income individuals. We don't give it to Carl Icahn, right? So unlike Hong Kong, where we give $1,000 to every citizen, we give $1,000 to every citizen with a low-income level, and also more to the people who are directly affected by the virus itself.
That's a great point. So could the government come up with a plan to do that quickly, expeditiously here? Because it sounds like right now the plan coming together is focusing on extending jobless benefits, the food stamp program, and some other things. Is something like you're describing feasible?
Absolutely. And one thing that we haven't mentioned enough about saving businesses is that these businesses are going to be suffering a lot of cash flow problems, and they have to have rent relief, tax relief, and loan access to the funding, which is why the Fed moved to ensure the short-term lending markets is so critical, because we need these repo markets to ensure access by banks to get the kind of funding to supply the small loans that are needed by the small businesses.
Absolutely. And a couple examples of this happening in a piecemeal fashion today. You've got the FCC saying major internet providers have agreed for the next 60 days not to cancel service if it's related to coronavirus for residences or for small businesses. You have utilities on Long Island and elsewhere temporarily suspending shutoffs in the case of non-payment. And as long as the companies providing those services themselves can get reimbursed, to me, this seems like exactly the way through this period.
And Kelly, the reason why a lot of your guests and critics poo-poo these plans is because they like big picture, big bazookas. And I have to tell you, the people who are most affected are going to be the small little guys, and you cannot use a big bazooka on a small little guy.
Is there anything else you could come up with that would more directly help them?
I think the targeted income-based rebate is going to be the best way, and one way to do that is to use either Social Security payments and just add more to your Social Security payment for the elderly, or unemployment insurance claims, add more to those, and those are direct channels that we already have to funnel money into that population, just boost it a little bit more.
No, those are great ideas, Bill. We appreciate it.